Let's start with the prayers. Vasudeva sutam devam kamsa chanuramarthanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. We are in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and it is the central core topic of knowing our true self, which is described in this chapter. All of us have a keen sense of mystery about ourselves. Who are we on this earth? Where did we come from? Where are we going? This has been beautifully answered by Lord Krishna in this chapter. If we understand this chapter well, our doubts about ourselves will be gone. To understand this chapter, we require a very mature and a very pure mind. What is the definition of a pure mind? If you ask, it is a mind which is free from agitations, disturbances, to a relative sense, and which is very keen to know its nature. Because all of us, we ask this question, who am I, with our mind? It is this voice in us which we hear every day from morning to night. There is a voice inside us telling us, I have done this, I have to do this in the future. That voice is called as ahamkara. If people are doing meditation, they will easily notice this voice. If people are doing yoga, they will very easily notice this voice in them. Many seekers talk to me about this voice. What is this voice? What is the nature of this voice? How does it originate? And how does it resolve itself? Will it resolve itself, or will it take another birth? It is this voice inside which is never satisfied if it has got a lot of likes and dislikes in the world. It is this voice which is the representation of the prarabdha karma in us. It is this voice which, because of its sanchita karma, it takes new births. It's a very, very subtle voice. It is a very, very deep inner voice in us. It seems to be never dying. It can never be seen by the eyes. It can never be known by the mind. It can only be known by the sakshi, the witness of consciousness. But this voice covers the nature of consciousness. Our true nature it covers, and it projects this world for us. Throughout our life, we lead our lives based on the projections of this mind, with likes and dislikes. Bhagavad Gita in this chapter goes beyond the voice, this ahamkara, ego voice, reveals to us our nature as the pure consciousness, awareness, the core of our personality, our pure existence without the body, which reveals this voice to us, which reveals this world to us in a particular state of consciousness. The Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. The essence of the Upanishads is to reveal our nature, our true nature as the pure awareness, without the body, without the mind, without the intellect, without the world. That is our true nature. From verse number 14 onwards to verse number 18, 5 verses, it brings the essence of the whole Bhagavad Gita in these 5 verses. These 5 verses are the essence of the 13th chapter. They are the essence of the entire Gita, which is what we have been covering in the last 2 weeks. Today we end that discussion with the 18th verse. When we meditate on these verses, we will reach our true nature. It's a promise given by Lord Krishna. Meditate. First, you listen to the description of these verses. What does these verses mean? Listen, shravanam. The second step is mananam. Let that, what you have heard, let it be contemplated upon in your own mind. And then it will reveal its essential nature as the pure consciousness. And the last step is drop the notion that I am the body, I am the mind. The real struggle for all jivas is the body identification, which is a vasana, deha abhimana vasana. It is a impression which we have been having since many, many births. It's very difficult to cross this maya, these impressions which have been covering our nature. But through this methodology which is adopted in the Bhagavad Gita, it is possible for us to drop this identification and claim ourselves as the pure being. I am the pure being. I am the awareness. I am kshetrajnaha. I am the knower of the body. I am the knower of the mind. I am not the body. I am not the mind. This is the essence of the 13th chapter. This is expressed in all these verses. In different ways, Lord Krishna is trying to teach us that we are the knowing principle, pure awareness principle, distinctly different than the body, which is made up of 5 elements, and the mind, which is made up of the 5 elements. So the 5 elements are being seen, aware, known by another principle, which is called as the sentient principle, which is called as the higher nature. This nature of ours is eternal. It is timeless. Knowing this nature, we can claim that we are immortal. The body is mortal. The mind is also changing. It goes from one body to another body. But when I am aware that I am the knowing factor, this identification with the body and mind gets dropped. It is a slow process, but a sure process which happens. That's why all the teachers, they advise us, keep listening to this spiritual essence in us, the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads. Continue the study. Let us understand clearly how to differentiate between the ahamkara and the sakshi. These 5 verses are indicators of the Atma, the awareness principle. Everything else is the non-self, the anatma, kshetram. In the language of the 13th chapter, it is the field of experiences. The entire Jagrat Avastha, the waking state, is a field of pleasure and pain. If you understand, the entire waking state is nothing but it is a field for the jivas who take birth in different bodies. They come and experience joy and sorrow. It is a mixture. The human body is a mixture of joy and sorrow. The other bodies of the plants, animals, birds, those are all the lower bodies. There they are only bhoktas. They are not kartas. The Devic bodies, the body of the Devatas, they are in a different field altogether. They are also bhoktas. They enjoy certain sukham, which we are not able to enjoy in this human body. And beyond all these bodies is this awareness principle, which is called as Atma, which is called as Kshetrajna. And the more we understand that we are the seer of the body, we are the consciousness principle, everything else I experience is not awareness. It is purely anatma. Different higher texts have got different methodologies to explain this and make this more and more clear to us. With that small introduction, I will just go into the verse number 18. Jyotishamapi tad jyotihi tamasa paramuchyate jnanam jneyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtidam. This is an important verse because it has the essence of Kathopanishad and Mundakopanishad verses. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidhyato bhanti kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. This is a very, very famous mantra of Kathopanishad. It also is there in Mundakopanishad. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it is this verse, which is a representation of that spiritual light in us. The light of all lights is this light of awareness, the spiritual light. It is beyond darkness. The light which we are experiencing in the Jagrat Avastha, in the waking state, the light which we experience here is mainly coming from the sunlight. The sunlight makes things visible to us during the waking state. The world comes to us, because of this sunlight. The energy of the sunlight, the light of the sunlight. And in the night, it is the moonlight, which is a luminary. The stars are very distant. These are the lights which are physical lights. Incandescent lamp which we have at home. All these are all physical lights. Here, when we say light of all lights, Jyotisham api Jyotihi, means we are talking about the spiritual light. It is a different order of reality, which is called as Paramarthika Satyam. Like the waker and the dreamer, there are two different orders of reality. Similarly, this light, which is called as spiritual light, is of a different order. And what Bhagavad Gita teaches us is we are that pure light. In that light, our entire, all the three states, waking, dream, and sleep, are coming and going. I am that pure light. This is what we are studying on the Wednesday classes, Mandukya Upanishad. In that spiritual light, we are experiencing the three states of the mind. And where is this light located? It is seated in the hearts of all. Seated means what? Not physically seated. Spiritually, it is there, pervading all the bodies, all the minds. Like the waker's mind pervades the entire dream world, the dreamer, and the dream transactions. Similarly, this pure light, which exists by itself independently, that light of consciousness is pervading our entire Jagrat Avastha. It is very, very subtle. This teaching is very subtle. But if you understand the methodology in which it is being said, it's being taught, it is easy for our intellects to understand and also discriminate that with the mind. Ahamkara is the voice. It gets the light, it gets the energy from this spiritual light. So the voice inside us telling us, do this, do that, I am. When the body is doing something, it says, I am doing. The eyes are seeing, the ahamkara says, I am seeing. This is explained very beautifully in the 18th chapter, the 14th verse, which describe the 5 factors of all actions. So the ahamkara in us is the ego factor. It is a fake entity which appears in this body during the waking state and then disappears in the night. There is no more voice. Therefore, there is no more action at the body level. Again, it gets up in the morning, again it goes to sleep. Again, it gets up, again it goes to sleep. This is called as the states of consciousness, states of the human mind. That voice is nothing else but a thought in the mind. The thought in the mind appears like a voice in our body. Many people who are doing yoga, they will know this voice very clearly. And many people are very, very confused. What is this? What is this voice? What is this? It is a thought. It's a thought in the mind which produces this voice. It's a vibration. Very, very fine vibration, which is like a voice inside. But the power behind this The one which illuminates this voice, the light, that light is called as the light of all the lights. That is not the ahamkara, it is the sakshi. So in meditation, when the mind starts going into different channels, again and again we have to bring that mind and tell the mind that the origination of these thoughts is me, the sakshi, the pure being. The pure being has no voice. The voice is a manifestation of this pure being. So this light is situated in the mind, and it can be reached by the knowledge of the scriptures, like this verse. Jyotisham api to jyotihi tamasa paramuchyate. Tamasa paramuchyate means it removes the internal spiritual darkness. The knowledge of this light of consciousness, awareness, is responsible for the elimination of ignorance in the mind. And this knowledge is revealed, it is born because of these verses, because of the words of the Upanishads. What is light? Light is that which illumines. When we use illumination in Vedanta, it means it makes things known. Thoughts are illumined by consciousness. Thoughts are the stimuli which comes from the sense organs and the sense objects outside. So there are sense objects outside. Ultimately, they're all taken in through the sense organs. The eyes sees the color, eye sees a form outside in the objects. They come into the body in the form of thoughts of the eyesight. Similarly, the sound you hear, now you're hearing the sound, my sound, which reaches you. This sound is basically heard by the ears, and then it reaches the mind in the form of vritti, in the form of thoughts. And these thoughts in the mind are illumined by the spiritual light, that light of Atman, that light which is ever present. That light never changes. That light is what is our real nature. But we think that the mind is me. That is the real problem. This correction, that I am the body which is seen, I am the mind which is known, this correction of internal correction, that I am not the body, I am not the mind, this is done by this verse. I am that illuminator. It's a very, very subtle, it's a spiritual light. It is not the physical light. So don't try to look for that light in meditation. You will never get it. The only thing we can say in meditation is, I am that light. I am the kshetrajna. I am the knowing principle. It is possible to claim and bring this thought. This is also a thought. I am Atma. Aham Brahma Asmi. I am Satchit Ananda. This is also a thought. But when this thought happens, the object for this thought is not outside in the world. The object for this thought is Atma. Therefore, it is important to say, I am that. And what you understand is that light which is illumining this thought is me. It is a manifestation. The thought manifests the light, like the moonlight manifests the sunlight. This vritti in the body, in the mind, aham brahma asmi, I am that light of all the lights. This thought has the object called as Atma or awareness, and that is what it reveals. This is a direct revelation of the pure consciousness, independent in illumination. To see the sun, no other light is required. Consciousness is self-luminous. It can reveal itself. To see the sun maybe will require the eyes. To see the sun will require the power behind the eyes, which is the spiritual light. But to see or to be aware of this pure consciousness, that spiritual light, for that you don't require another light. So in this Natatra Suryo Bhati, what it says is the sun does not shine there. Why does the sun does not shine? Because it is a physical light, it is not the spiritual light. It is a different order of reality. Nor does the moon, nor does the stars, nor the lightnings, and much less the fire. Normally, this mantra is chanted when a purohit does arti in a temple. That small camphor light he is showing to that idol and saying, Natatra Suryo Bhati, this light which I am showing to you, O Lord, is a small camphor light, but this light is illumining you, the pure spiritual light. When he shines, here when he means that Lord, which is representative of this spiritual light, when he shines, everything shines after him. Anubhati. The word anubhati is very, very important. Anubhati means after him. Lakshmana walks after Rama, behind Rama. So similarly, this pure, all the lights shine after this consciousness. It is the consciousness which is self-illuminating, which is self-existent, which is nityaha, which is always there. It is this light which we are in our sleep state. This is what the Upanishads tell us. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Prashno Upanishad, all these Upanishads, they teach us that we are, our true nature is what we are in our sleep state. But one thing we should understand, this we can know after the study of the Bhagavad Gita, which explains us this light. This light is an invariable light. It exists throughout the three states. Waking, dream, and sleep, all the three states is an invariable factor, the changeless factor. The illuminator of all the three states is this pure light, the light of all lights. And the moment I own up this pure light, this pure self, this is what we call it as the self. This is what we call it as the Atma. This is the search. This is that oneness which I pointed out to you in the Mahavakya analysis. That pure, the Jivatma and Paramatma are both one. When we say both are one, it means they are one in nature, which is this light of all lights. One can go on and on about this description of this particular verse, because this is the core of our true nature. I have not found any other mantra, any other verse in the scriptures which is as powerful as this verse to know our true nature. Let the mind dwell on this again and again till we are able to know this nature as our own nature. In the light of this only we are able to know our mind. The mind is revealed only by the light of consciousness. Many people miss this point in meditation. They say my mind is disturbing to me. It's going around all the world. It's going around many places. But why? Why I am not able to de-link from the mind is because they lack this knowledge of the light in which I'm seeing the thoughts is this spiritual light. This is the differentiating knowledge which you must bring it in the at the time of meditation. When you do this, what will happen is the thoughts, they drop. The moment you become aware, hey, I am aware of this thought, immediately the thoughts will cease. Again, it starts again to go into another point, another topic we start thinking. Again, you bring it back to Atma. Again, remind yourself, I am the light in which these thoughts are seen. When you open your eyes after meditation, just remember this point. In which light did I see these thoughts? Where was these thoughts? Was this thought in the space which I see outside, which is called as akasha? No. This is called as the chit akasha. This is the space which is created in our mind which is internal. It is the physical space is outside, but this is chid akasha, created by the chit principle, consciousness principle. Different order. If you want to experience this, you try out an experiment in yourself. Whenever you try to get up in the morning, 1 minute before you step out of your bed, keep your eyes closed and remember this verse. I am the light of Atma. That's all. Just remember. Immediately you will know that the dream which I saw before getting up is illumined by this light, the spiritual light. It's a 30 seconds, it's a 5-second dream before you just wake up and open your eyes. The moment you open your eyes, the illumination, the whole mind will illumine the world for us, this outside world. Then you will not be able to notice this inner light. The best time to catch this light, to know this light, is just before getting up. Just remember this Jyotisham abhitat jyotihi. You will definitely realize the light of Atma. And that light of Atma is very, very deep. It is in us. That is the light. That is the spiritual light. In the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna saw thousands of suns rising at the same time. That brightness, that illumination is the strength of this light of Atma, because this is the core of our own personality. We don't realize this. So the Atma is at a deeper level in our own mind, illuminating these thoughts. That awareness principle is the core of our personality. I can still say in the waking state, I am, and stop. You will be referring to the same light which you saw in the morning, which you experienced, which you came to know in the morning. I am. Without using anything else, you use the word I am for that pure light, pure existence. Then you know who you are. Anything else you put after I am is a biography of the body and the mind. The pure I am is your real nature, which doesn't have a birth, which doesn't have a death, which continues and lives forever. The spiritual light is unborn. It doesn't have the three states. It is of a higher order of reality. That is being revealed in this beautiful verse. Jyotisham abhitat jyotihi, the light of all the lights. This is very, very elaborately discussed in the Bhagavad Upanishad. Also in Kathopanishad, you can see this. Bhagavan, you are the light of even the light I am showing you. That camphor light which the Purohit is showing in the temple, in the Arati, he is saying, oh Bhagavan, you are the spiritual light in which all this waking state is happening. Indriyebhya para arthe, arthebhya sa param manaha, manasascha para buddhi, buddher atma mahan paraha. This is a Kathopanishad verse. Beyond the senses are the sense objects. Beyond the objects is the mind. Beyond the mind is the intellect. And beyond the intellect is the great self. Very beautiful verse again. Many a times people ask, where do I see this Atma? How can I realize this Atma? When will I realize this Atma? All these are questions. But if you understand this verse properly, you will never ask that question. Because it is in the light of this pure light you are asking the question. It is there in us. It is me. This light is me. That is the real me. Know this light, remove all the fears from the mind, and live happily. That is the essence of this verse of the Bhagavad Gita. The fears which we have are all related to the body. The body is insecure. It always keeps on thinking, what next, what next, what next? And it keeps on projecting the future. But bring it back to this light and say, I am the light in which these thoughts, this body, this world is seen. And then you will never have a question in life about your true nature. This Purusha, Avyakta means unmanifest. So Buddhi, when you go beyond the intellect, then there is one field, one gap. Many people, they mistake this. This is called as the blankness which you experience. Many people ask this question, what is this blankness? What is this blankness? Blankness is avidya, ignorance, unmanifest state, causal body. And what is seeing this causal body is the light of consciousness, which is called as the Purusha. That Purusha is the highest in this entire universe. So knowing these two Kathopanishad mantras, you can have a deeper understanding of this Bhagavad Gita's verse. Number 18. Tamoguna is sleep. It is Maya. I'm using terms, but they are all basically used to explain our states of experience. So this sleep state is Jadam. Jadam means it is inert. It's called as Karana Shariram, but it is intrinsically inert. So that is the sleep state. It is the blankness which we experience in our sleep state. But the sleep state is a matter principle. It is known and illumined by consciousness. Hence we say, I slept well. When we get up in the morning, everybody gets up. You feel that you had a good sleep and you're ready for the next day. Very fresh. Why? Because we have experienced our own true nature of this pure light of consciousness in sleep. Our original nature is this. So I am always blissful is our nature. Because that is what I experience in sleep state. How will I be when I leave this body? What was I before the birth of the body? It is the same experience. I am that pure light which illumined the body. It is the same which is never changing. So this light of all lights is a changeless light. It is the substratum not only to know this body, but also the substratum of the entire universe. Whatever events are happening outside, if you know that I am the spiritual light, you are free. This is called as moksha. Knowing this light of all lights is moksha, freedom. Freedom from the wrong identification that I am the body, I am the mind. And I am suffering in this world. These are the three things which is, the moment I do not know this awareness principle, don't have this knowledge, a clear knowledge of this consciousness, awareness principle, then I have a lot of confusions and misconceptions about my nature, about the nature of the world, and the nature of God. All these three are mistaken notions if I don't know this light of all lights. That's why this understanding this particular verse of the Bhagavad Gita is extremely important to reach our true nature. So this Karana Shariram does not touch the Chetana sentient principle. That pure consciousness is independently existing. It is the blissful self. That spiritual light can't touch the darkness of tamas. It is always blissful. It is always illumined. If you say, how come I don't know this? This is because that is what is called as ignorance, spiritual ignorance, not the ignorance about physics or cooking or ignorance about the world, because that is a different type of ignorance. That's ignorance about the objects of the world. But here it is talking about our own pure nature. Rope snake can't touch the rope. That means rope snake here represents the thoughts in our mind, the projections in our mind. And what is the rope? Rope is basically the Atma. So what we are saying is rope snake is compared to the projections and Atma is like the rope. So rope, suppose I am thinking about rope snake and keep on projecting so many things, but can it ever disturb the actual rope? No. Similarly, this Atma is untouched, unaffected by anything which goes on in the physical body or in the mind. Like mirage water cannot touch the sand, like ignorance cannot touch knowledge, they are two different opposite in nature, ignorance and knowledge. Light and darkness, they are opposed to each other. But then both light and darkness are illumined by what principle? Spiritual light. Atma can't touch the waker because it is in the light of Atma the waking state happens, the dream state happens, the sleep state happens. Like you have waker and dreamer, they are different realities, isn't it? Different levels of experiences. Waking, dream, sleep. Sleep is much more deeper. Dream is a little bit closer to us. Waking is, of course, we all know. So if we take the waking as a standard and try to analyze everything, that is a wrong analysis. You can never arrive at Atma. You will always be confused because you are referring to the gross body as the standard. You have to drop the gross body as the standard and then take that pure consciousness as the standard. And then analyze our waking, our dream, our sleep states. This is what is taught in the Mandukya Upanishad. Take that as the reference point. Don't take the body, gross body as the reference point. Many people have confusions in Mandukya Upanishad because of this reference point. Atma is beyond darkness. The light and darkness are English words used for physical light. They are not the spiritual light. Atma is the spiritual light, higher level of reality, which is also called as Brahman. And that is seated in our hearts. It means our heart means our mind. Here it means it is seated in our intellect. It is known by it is the knower of that intellect. It is the knowing principle. It's all within us only. There is nothing outside. You see, the spirituality, the study of spirituality is when you stop looking outside. When your eyes and ears are looking outside, you will not understand the spiritual light because they are engulfed by the objects outside. The five sense organs, they completely cover the spiritual light. They veil completely. See, our mind itself covers this like a cloth. Suppose you have a light and you put on top of the light, you put a dark cloth. What happens? You will not be able to see the light at all. So similarly, our mind is like the dark cloth. Tamasa. That is why it is called as tamas, ignorance. So it covers. When in sleep, what happens is this is the covering. Sleep is a covering. That is why it is called as wheeling, avarna shakti. So that avarna shakti is active, and so that avarna shakti belongs to what? It belongs to the ignorance. Because of the ignorance of the waker, you dream. You don't know that I am the waker. That ignorance is a power. I'm trying to explain this. Please listen carefully, because this is very, very important. You can realize this at the time of waking. This particular point of what is ignorance, in 60 seconds, you will know. You will know in your own self what is ignorance. So when you wake up, what happens is you are still dreaming. You see, your impressions are still going on. The dream is just, you're about to just get up. So what happens is the mind is throwing up a different world, projecting the dream world. Why does it do? Because it is got that Shakti to project. And what is that Shakti? It covers, the Shakti has got twofold phenomena. It covers the waker, the waker, which is my real status, and it covers, it projects. So projection is called as Vikshepa Shakti. The covering is called as Avarna Shakti. This is the mechanism of dream. You take the same thing, apply it to Atma. I'm trying to explain to you how technically we are able to experience this world. In the case of Atma, what Upanishad says is, there is, in the case of dream, it was the avidya. That's called, the term used for dream is avidya. That is ignorance of the waker. When it comes to the waking state, what happens is, it is the ignorance of the Atma. I am that pure light of consciousness, the light of all lights. Now, Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita reveal that light. And I have to know that light as my real nature. In waking state, I can't know it in sleep state, I can't know it in dream state. The only state I can know about Atma is, and learn about this Atma, is in the waking state. So this entire world which we are experiencing is a result of ignorance of that Atma, and that ignorance is called as Mula Avidya. Causal prapancha, causal nature of this entire universe. I'm giving you a little bit more deeper insight to this mantra. I'm trying to explain to you how our experiences are there, which is basically Mandukya Upanishad. So in this, what happens is, the same small ignorance which you had of the waker, when you have the bigger ignorance of the whole universe, ignorance of the whole Atma, the substratum, that causes the wheeling and the projection. That means in waking state, what happens? I am wheeled from I have the Avarna Shakti, I am wheeled of my original nature of Atma, and I am projecting, or basically this is entirely, I am experiencing, like the dream world, this Mula Avidya, ignorance, is projecting this entire universe, which is the waking universe. This is how technically Upanishads, they explain to us, what am I experiencing with reference to Atma. See, just now I told you reference point has to be changed. So with reference to pure consciousness, pure awareness, this Jagrat Avastha is a projection of that Mula Vidya, or ignorance. And the moment I come to know this type of why we are experiencing what we are experiencing, then what happens is this pure light of consciousness I am able to own up. My ignorance, that pure ignorance of this Atma, which I have been continuously having since many, many lives. It's not only in this life I have this pure ignorance of pure consciousness. I have had it for many lives before. And now with this 18th mantra of the 13th chapter, I come to know my real nature. I am of a different order of reality. I am that pure consciousness in which the whole world is seen, known. See, again, I'm using the word knowingness. Knowingness is the sentiency. Knowingness is not there in the inert stone, table, wall. Knowingness is a separate principle, which is consciousness, which is what is called as Brahman in the Upanishads. In the 18th verse here, it is called as Jyotisham api Jyotihi, light of all lights. And that is there in our own hearts, and it can be known, claimed as our true nature. The same idea is there in many other places. I have just put in some of these verses here. Sri Ramana Gita, in the interior of the heart cave, Brahman alone shines in the form of Atman. And it is this I, which is what is our core nature. I am. And what he says is, this is Ramana Gita, means Ramana Maharishi, his Gita. And he says, you dive deep in us through the control of breath, you can abide in this Atman. Knowledge is very important. Knowledge gives us strength. When our mind gets a glimpse of this Atma, then it gains all the strength which it can, and it can give you new insights into the working of this body and the mind. Taittiriya Upanishad, this is a very important and a very beautiful mantra. Om Brahma Vida Apnoti Param Tadesha Bhuktam Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Yoman Soshnute Sarvan Kaman Saha Brahmana Vipaschiteti. I use this term Satchid Ananda. I am Satchid Ananda. Where do I get this term Satchid Ananda from? This mantra. Taittiriya Upanishad, first mantra, first section of the second chapter. This is the heart of that Upanishad. It says this Om is this Satchidananda principle. And what is this Satchidananda is explained in the entire Upanishad. That Satchidananda, that Om is this light of all lights. And where is it realized? In the cave of the heart, it's realized. That means what? It is in my own self. When I dive deep into my own core nature of the mind, I will discover this light of all lights. I will discover this pure consciousness, which is my true self. From that pure consciousness, the three states come and go. All the words which I speak, they come and go. all the perceptions which come and go, they're all originating and resolving in I am. Perceptions, speech, thoughts, all three originate from I am. This voice which I talked about earlier, I am, that that voice called ahamkara, the origination of that voice in ourself is this I am, this light of all lights. Where is Bhagavan? Where is that light? We say Bhagavan is not near or far, because when we say that Lord is near us or farther away from us, we are making a mistake. The mistake is, I am making that Lord, that Bhagavan, as an object of perception. Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Lord which is seated in this mind. That is the correct statement. He is the self of all. That pure consciousness is your nature, my nature, all pervading consciousness is the real truth of this universe. Who will come to actually experience this? Nyayam. Don't forget, we are in the topic of Nyayam, Jnanam and Jnayam. That is what we are discussing from 14th to 18th verse. I want to remind that again. Nyayam means that object called as Atma, consciousness, awareness, Kshetrajna. The Lord says, only my devotee who has love to God will experience this. That means you love that superior principle, that principle which is the creator of this entire universe, illuminator of this entire universe. You are a seeker. You want to know that. So here, Lord Krishna says that if you have that mumukshutvam, that keenness to learn, to know about this pure consciousness, you will realize it, because you will realize it in your own heart. And when you realize it, it is the same consciousness. All the wise people in the world who have gone through these Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, what they have realized is what you and I will realize when we also seek the same Lord. That Lord is called as the Lord, the light of all the lights, which is in the form of Atma. Atma is just a word, but it is something which is beyond words. So far we have done this verse, very beautiful verse. You can go through this verse again. If you have any questions, you can ask me at the end of today's class. If you're not understood any point, because this particular verse, the concluding verse of the Nyayam portion, is the heart of this whole Bhagavad Gita. Very beautifully, it reveals pure consciousness, awareness as the core of our personality. This is what we are searching in meditation. This is the seeker. This is what every seeker in the whole universe is seeking. He wants to know this pure consciousness, the light of all the lights. Until we realize this, we will never be fulfilled. And the moment we realize it, we will be fulfilled in life. Ever fulfilled. There is nothing else which is required beyond this, because we have reached the goal. We don't have to remain as a seeker throughout our life. One day we can tell ourselves, yes, I know what the Bhagavad Gita has taught me. I have struggled so many months to understand what Bhagavad Gita is, but I know it today. I know what the real essence of Bhagavad Gita is. It is not teaching me about karma yoga. It is only a stepping stone. It is not teaching me how to meditate. That is only a stepping stone. Meditation is a stepping stone. Karma yoga is a stepping stone. Jnana yoga, this particular mantra, this topic of awareness, consciousness is the final, the ultimate thing to be known. So, Nayam of chapter 13 is the ultimate goal of every seeker. In the past, in the present, and in the future, because this light is nityaha, it is ever there. What Shankaracharya has realized is what you and I can realize. We have to make an effort, understand clearly what this is in our own personalities, and then we will be blessed. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam jneyam choktam samasatah madbhakte tad vijnaya madbhavayopapadyate. So now the Lord is concluding the two sections, kshetram and kshetrajna, jnanam and jneyam. So this is a verse which is trying to teach us that two sections are over. What has been taught so far? Kshetram, from verse number 2 to 7. Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is the knower. That is what is to be known in the entire 13th chapter. The third verse of the Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, is the ultimate goal. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. That verse. And then jnanam means all the values which are required in the mind was described from verse 8 to 12. And what is ultimate jneyam? Jneyam is the light of all lights. It is undivided in nature. It is there in all the human beings. Sarvatha pani padam tat sarvato shishiro mukham. And then a very beautiful mantra was the 14th mantra, which was, another mantra which was beautiful in this section was Sarvendriya gunabhasam, Sarvendriya vivarjitam, asaktam sarva brishaiva, nirgunam gunabhoktrucha. This was a very important mantra also, which I told you, because it explains to us both the immanent principle, that means all pervading principle of this pure light of all lights, because it is in this light we see everything, we know everything in the three states. And in that mantra itself, it says it is beyond. Sarva indriya vivarjitam. Verse number 15. Whenever the indriyas are seeing the world, remember me, that pure consciousness. Whenever the indriyas are not seeing the world as in sleep, again remember it is the light of all lights, which is illumining the unmanifest condition of the universe. The essence of Shruti has been told in brief in these 5 verses. The 4 types of devotees mentioned in chapter 12. In chapter 12, if you remember, it was titled Bhakti Yoga. And in that Bhakti Yoga, there were 36 values of a Parabhakta. Parabhakta means a devotee who is worshipping the Lord But a parabhakta, that means who is who wants to reach the self. That was mentioned in verse 13 to 19 of the 12th chapter. It was mentioned that those who have those 36 values will get liberated. In this chapter, 20 values were given from 8 to 12. So for people who want to know what are the values I should develop in life, these two sections, chapter 12, 13 to 19, 36 values, chapter 13, 8 to 12, 20 values. And then you have Sthita Prajna Lakshana also in the second chapter, 54 to 72, second chapter. So these are all just preparations. But the real success is in these verses 13 to 18. And here, once we understand the truth, iti kshetram tatha jnanam. This is the kshetram, this is the jnanam, this is the jneyam. And that bhakta who knows this how to differentiate the kshetram and kshetrajna, he is the same as the parabhakta of the 12th chapter. And both the parabhakta and this jnani who knows my real nature, they enter into my being. Means they will unite with me, become one with me. This is the oneness, the asipada. See, the 13th chapter talks about the oneness between the Jivatma and Paramatma. This is where the Lord says, when he says, my devotee enters into my being, this is what is the asipada. Oneness, the devotee becomes one with the Lord. I will just finish this particular 12th, this verse. Ahamatma gudakeshaha sarvabhutash ashyasitaha aham adishcha madhyamcha bhutanamanta evacha. This was said in the 20th verse of the 10th chapter. It is the same self. It is the same jyotishamapi tachyotihi, which was described as I am seated in the heart of all beings. I'm trying to connect so that you can also connect and come back and say, yes, I have understood the Gita. It is the same revelation which the Lord wants to reveal in every chapter. He wants to reveal this Atma, which is deep inside us. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am the knower in all the fields. If you are seeing the world outside yourself, it is the same consciousness. If you are in London, if you're seeing, it is the same consciousness. If you are in India seeing the world, it is the same consciousness. And you are living in Singapore, you see Singapore, whatever you are experiencing in life, in the 3 states of your own mind, it is the same consciousness. All pervading consciousness is one. It is appearing in different bodies, but in fact, it is one. Jiva Brahma Aikyam happens when we act intellectually, drop the body, mind, and intellect, and realize ourselves as this awareness, the light of all lives. Jiva Brahma Aikyam. Aikyam means, Brahman means the Lord, the Paramatma, the ultimate. So this Aikyam means oneness. This happens when we realize that we are also the same light of consciousness which is illumining the entire universe. And this is the essence of all the Vedas, the 4 Vedas. They all have got upanishads in the end. And all of them are revealing this one Atma. Yayam is the ultimate reality, one with the self. The self in you is the same self in me, is the same self in all. It is this consciousness which knows the Kshetram, and it is called as Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna means the knower. Consciousness also is the knower. And it is, how do I know this consciousness? It is self-revealing, self-evident and self-existent. Evident stands for chit aspect, self-existence stands for the sat aspect. Sat and chit. When sat and chit are there together, they are ananda. They are infinite in nature, without any limitations. So world depends on this Satchit Ananda, or this light of all lights, as the observing principle. The observer, knower is Atma, Kshetrajna. Knower of this body is Atma. Kshetrajna is me. The Lord says, and that is what is to be known, the ultimate thing to be known. So Nyayam is explained in 6 verses, the central theme of chapter 13. Nyayam means the Swarupam of the self, the reality. When you say it is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Satchidananda, it is the nature of that self. Jyotisham Jyotihi, the light of all lights, the ultimate effulgence, because of which everything becomes known. This is an indirect definition of that pure consciousness. We are using the world and then saying, the one which knows the world. With reference to the world, I describe the self. This knowledge happens where? It happens in a mind with 20 virtues, which is called as jnanam. It is in the heart of all beings, the core of oneself. The core of one's personality is this awareness. And we realize it when we understand, first of all, what is this consciousness? When we contemplate in our meditation, and when we drop our notion that I am the body and mind. All 3 are important. So when ajnanam of Atma is removed, that avarna shakti, that means the covering is removed and the projection also is removed, then what happens is, I am always living in this pure bliss of Atman. And that is called as, when it shines, it is called as jnanam. Satyam jnanam anantam. Consciousness is jnanam. This jnanam of pure Atma gives us the strength to face all the difficulties which come to us in life. We hear of so much of disturbances in the world today. But the solution to that is knowing this pure self, which is the light of all lights. That knowledge gives us the strength to face the challenges of life, the ups and downs of the mind. Every day we face challenges. We hear so many situations, events. These are all going on in the world. But this knowledge, this is sacred knowledge. It's a very purifying knowledge. And it is the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, which if I have in my own heart, I remember this knowledge and then live my life. So this is the core topic of the 13th chapter. Next week, we will continue this next section, very beautiful section, Purusha and Prakriti. This is the 3rd section. If you remember the three questions which Arjuna asked in the beginning of this chapter, "Oh Lord Krishna, teach me what is Kshetram, what is Kshetrajna." He taught that. What is Jnanam, what is Jneyam? He taught that. And the last topic is what is Prakriti and what is Purusha. This is another dimension by which we will learn about the same awareness, same consciousness, which we will see next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. I don't see any questions in the chat box. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Shanmugam has unmuted everybody.
Shekhar,
Yes, Ramkumar.
you said that Kshetrajna is transcendental and Nyayam is immanent. So when I am Kshetrajna, is it related to our body, mind? And Nyayam, when we merge with Paramatma, it becomes Nyayam.
No. I think you got it wrongly. Let me correct it. See, basically, Atma is to be understood as both immanent and transcendental. Okay, that is the first thing you should understand. It has got nothing to do with Kshetrajna and Nyayam. Nyayam, Kshetrajna, Atma, they're all one. The same. It is the same entity which we are calling as Atma. We are calling it as Kshetrajna. We are calling it as Nyayam. It is the same. So, this Atma appears as both transcendent and immanent. This is how you should understand. These are two important words we must understand in Bhagavad Gita, and in all Upanishads. You must use these two principles. What does immanent mean? Immanent means we are using that pure consciousness and we are following one principle. It is called as adhyaropa. It is just a methodology of trying to reveal that Atma. Okay, this is a principle used by Upanishads. In all the Upanishads, you will find that ultimately Atma gets revealed in your own mind when you also follow the same two principles. When you analyze Atma, your core nature, you should understand that that pure light of all lights, the Nyayam, the Kshetrajna, that observer, that consciousness principle is immanent. What is the meaning of immanent? Immanent means how do I experience it physically? It means that when I see this body and through this body, when I experience this world, it is called that Atma is called as immanent in nature. That means it is pervading. Whatever I'm experiencing, it is pervading. Pervading means without that light, I cannot experience anything. This is the meaning of immanent. This is one principle. This principle is called as adhyaropa, superimposition. That means on pure awareness, I superimpose everything. For example, I told you eyes are seeing. But what do I say? I am seeing. Actually, the eyes are seeing. I say I am seeing. This is called as superimposition. You should say eyes are seeing the world. So this is the mistake which happens in the mind. This is called as the immanent principle of Atman. Okay, this is one side of the coin. The second side of the coin is what? I am transcendent. Transcendent means what? I remain, this particular Atma remains without the awareness of the body, mind, and the world. And when is this? This is in our sleep state. Yeah. In our sleep state, what happens? We negate experiences, all our experiences. That means we negate, that is called as nisheda. That means apavada. Apavada means this is the principle of negation. So the principle of negation is called as apavada, means you say that I exist without the experience of the body, mind, and the world. That is called as transcendent. So the same Atma, which is transcendent, is also immanent. It appears as this body, mind, and the world. It also is also without the body and world, and that is what is the pure consciousness. When I apply both these principles, I will realize I am that pure awareness which is appearing as the world, and which is also telling me that the world is only mithya. It is only an experiential reality. It is only a transactional reality for pleasure and pain through the body and the mind. That's all. That is the only strength you should, only power you should give to the world. But all this is happening in the light of Atma. So I should own up that pure consciousness as my real nature. That becomes my reference point, and then I drop all the experiences which I undergo. See, these are all experiences we cannot avoid. Everybody in the world has got experiences. And these experiences are only two types, sukham and dukkham. Morning to evening, we are bombarded with news. This is happening, that is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And then we are hearing, we are seeing the TV, we are hearing on the radio, we are looking at the WhatsApp, we are looking at the screens, we are looking at the TV, everywhere. All this bombardment of knowledge of the outside world. And ultimately, how do I experience it? Only in two ways. Either I'm happy or I'm sad. Throughout my life, this is what is happening. So the kshetram is this field. It's a field of pleasure and pain. But what is illumining this field is the kshetrajna, the Atma, Neyam. Now it's clear? Very good. Well done. Anybody else has a question?
Mr. Shekhar?
Yes.
Yeah, I have one question. Yenam and light of lights.
Yes.
Are they equivalent to Atma in a simple term for me? Because
Yeah, it is. It is.
So that means Yenam equal to lights of lights and equal to Atma, which I heard from you for some time. So that's why I'm asking.
Yes, it is the same. Yes, you're right.
Okay, appreciate.
What is the second question?
No, that's the same question.
Okay.
So the lights of light. So if I'm going to meditate with the lights of lights, is it equivalent?
Yes, you must do that, because the moment you say I am the light of all the lights, what you're saying is the light in which I am aware of my mind That light I am, that's all. That is final realization. I am that Satchidananda, I am that light, finished. That is your ultimate. Once you have done that, then the second light, the light of all the light, the second light, what we are talking about is through the thoughts. The thought is also a light. That thought is what is illumining the world outside. So what you are really telling in your own mind when you are meditating is this thought which is illuminating the whole world for me. I am that pure light of all lights, which is in which the mind itself becomes aware. It is aware.
So in the for my simple term, maybe I have to say, I am the pure lights of lights.
Exactly. Just keep repeating, I am the light in which all these experiences are coming and going. In my waking state, dream state, sleep state. Again and again, remember that I am that light, and you will realize one day that I am the light, I am not the body, mind. That's it. This is the ultimate meditation prescribed in Vedanta. Ultimate meditation, very simple meditation. I am the light in which I am seeing everything. That's all.
Yeah.
Remember, keep remembering this, and you will reach your goal.
Yes.
All your problems in life will get dropped one day. All. It's a guarantee.
Yes.
And you can experience it and you can confirm it yourself. It is nothing, it's not to be told to anybody, but if you accept and if you have realized it, you can tell others also.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Appreciate.
Anybody else has any other question?
Shekhar-ji.
Yeah, but.
So one question is, we, in the waking state, we have this, the avarana shakti and the vikshepa shakti at the full form.
Absolutely, right? Correct.
And with the knowledge, the avarana shakti and what exactly happens to the avarana shakti and the vikshepa shakti, because it appears to me that even though you have the jnanam, the vikshepa shakti, which is the projection shakti, that doesn't disappear and it continues to remain the same as it is, right?
Good question.
What happens to the other one?
Yeah, you see, okay, good. It's a good question. See, what happens, what the Vedas, what the teachers, they teach us is, they tell us, when you get this knowledge as described by the Bhagavad Gita, suppose you say, yes, I have come to know. Then the first thing which happens is your wheeling nature is gone. There is no more avarana shakti for you.
Okay.
In the waking state itself, there is no more avarana shakti for you.
Okay.
What happens is the projections are still going on. The vikshepa shakti is still going on. Why it is going on is because of the prarabdha of the body. The body has taken birth, it will have the projections till the end. It will go through the experiences of pleasure and pain. That is the prarabdha of the body. But in your own mind, you will know, I am not the body and mind. It is a false entity which is existing for some time. It will go away after some time. I am that pure consciousness. And this state of mind in which you live after the knowledge is called as Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means what? It is like seeing the stars in the daylight. In the night, when you see the stars, they look so bright. That means the Vikshepa Shakti in the night is very bright. But after knowledge, what happens? It is like seeing the stars in the daylight. That means you are not bothered about what happens. That is, in the mind, the vrittis will keep coming and you will experience your life. It will go on, but you will not pay too much attention to it. That is why it is called as mithya. life becomes a mithya and you remain as the pure consciousness. So your question is, what happens to a jnani?
Correct.
So jnani goes through the life like you and me. He has the physical pains of the body. He goes through pains which come to him, but then he knows how to drop them because of that pure light of consciousness which he is. He has got that strength in him. You also can get the same strength the moment you have this knowledge and you own up the knowledge as your nature. But claiming is important. If you keep claiming that I am the body and mind, you're still struggling as a seeker. But this is a transition. It's a phenomenal experience for each one of us. But it takes time because it is the impressions in our mind is too strong. That is what I said, the deha abhimana, that identification of the body is so strong that that covering is still there. You see that wheeling power is still not gone. So that is the difference. Are you clear now?
Yes. So even though the projection, the projecting Shakti or the Vikshepa Shakti is there, we are still not blinded because of it.
Yes, because of the knowledge, which is more powerful than the projections.
Okay. Get it.
Okay.
The second question is,
yeah,
we also look at the reality as the one which is unchanging.
Yes.
Which the entire unreal things which are happening.
Yes.
Like the movie what we see, we are able to see because of the unchanging screen.
Correct.
So similarly, all the sounds what we hear is upon the substratum of the silence.
Exactly.
Now this is talking about, I think these are two examples, at least for the substratum of the sound. It is talking about the one of the Panchabhutas, right?
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
Is there the Shastras give examples for every other Shakti also like that, or otherwise we have to take these two and then move forward? I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. The Shastras give this the substratum. You see, this substratum and of silence. This example is given in Mandukya Upanishad, where Om is the sound and silence is Atman. This is how Mandukya Upanishad reveals Atman. Now, that is one methodology. In the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about light of all lights. This is another methodology. Then in Taittiriya Upanishad, they discuss about koshas. They say that, you have Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, and then it has another method. It says, try to drop identification to these layers of personality and then own up that pure Atma. So there are different methodologies which are used by the Upanishads to reveal the same Atma.
Okay.
And if you study the 12 Upanishads, Kenopanishad says, Shrotrasya Shrotram. What does it mean? Pranasya Pranaha. Pranasya Pranaha, Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso. So what it says is, it is the ear of the ears. It is the eye of the eye. In meditation, what you do is, you tell yourself, there is a power in my eyes. That power in my eyes is a part of the universal power of sight, which is existing in the world. The power in my ears is one small portion. It is a reflection of that universal power which is existing in the universe, that devata. When I look at, when I meditate like this is what is taught in Kena Upanishad. Meditate on that power of listening, the power of seeing. It is not, that power is not in this body. It is not, it is that power is there in this body because of the universal power. So there is a link between the universal. I learn to link my eyesight, the power of my eyes. I learn to link with that universal power. Linking happens in the meditation. So what happens? So in the Kena Upanishad, you're trying to say all that powers, there is a universal power behind the eyes, behind the mind, behind this. And what is this Atma? The Atma is illuminating all these powers of the eyes, of the ears, of the mind. That is Kena Upanishad. It establishes a linkage between the powers of the sense organs with the universal power, and it helps me to understand the oneness in the whole creation. That cosmic being, which is the ultimate, which I am seeking, that cosmic being is in my body-mind complex as I am. I am. When I come to realize this pure consciousness, the light of all lights, as I am, that I am is the final, is the light, is what is the Upanishad wants to reveal. It's what the Bhagavad Gita wants to reveal. Everything else which I say after I am is the biography of the body and mind, which is anatma, which is what is in the transactional field. It exists, it is experienced, no doubt. But I have learned through the Bhagavad Gita to separate pure consciousness, Atma, from Anatma. And this is a great strength for me, because this, according to the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, will give you the strength to face your life. That's all. The mind gains a lot of strength and vitality when it is exposed to this knowledge. The more you are understanding the Bhagavad Gita, now you're asking these questions after a lot of knowledge about the Bhagavad Gita. Very, very deep questions. These questions were not there before in life. But now you are able to, that means you have grown, you have evolved. The human mind has evolved to a different level. The more it develops, the more it grows, and what happens is it knows that Atma is my true self, and that when it happens, then that you yourself will say, my avarna shakti is gone, and I am in control of my vikshepa shakti. I am in control of my mind. The mind is projecting. I'm experiencing like anything else. Nobody can stop the projections of the mind. As soon as we get up till we go to sleep, nobody can stop the projections. It's a continuous process. That is what is called a kshetram. That is what is called a jagat. But I am the Atma, different than the kshetram. I am different, and this is how your question was, whether all of them they have different methodologies, but ultimately they reveal the same Atma. Okay, but
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, if there are no more questions, we'll close for the day, and then we'll continue next week. Thank you and good night.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.